Welcome back to my learnings channel. In this video, we are going to learn how to build a Docker container image using Maven plugins. And these Maven plugins can create a Docker images for your application without a Docker file. Before we start with today's our actual topic, let's recall what we learned in our previous session. We pulled a publicly available Nginx image and we created a new container image by using Nginx as a base image. And while we were creating a new container image, we replaced Nginx static HTML welcome page with other HTML. And also we created a new container and we started the same container using docker run CLI command. And we also tried some other CLI commands as well, like stop container, restart container, and removing unused and stopped container. Now let us go back to present topic, how to build a Docker container image for your Java application without a Docker file. We have a 3 Maven plugin. The first Maven plugin is Spring Boot Maven plugin using build image code. We need not to provide any Docker file for this plugin. It will take care of creating a Docker image for your application. But a Docker daemon instance should be available wherever you are going to build the image using this plugin. And the second one, Jib Maven Plugin provided by Google. For this, we need not to provide any Docker file, and Docker daemon instance is not required for building the image. This can be preferable when you have a CI/CD pipeline for your application. Third one, Dockerfile Maven plugin provided by Spotify. For this, we need to provide Dockerfile, and a Docker daemon instance should be available wherever you are going to build the image using this plugin. The overall, if you see, Spring Boot build image code requires Docker daemon instance should be up and running, but a Docker file is not required. JAB Google plugin does not require a Docker file, and it does not require Docker daemon instance as well. And the Dockerfile Maven Spotify plugin, it requires both Dockerfile and a Docker daemon instance should be up and running wherever you are going to build the image using this plugin. Now let's start with the demo part. For demo purpose, I have created this application, and if you take a look into the application structure, this is a Spring Boot Java application where most of the things are annotation driven. And I have created this application using Maven build tool, where we have to keep all required and compatible dependencies and build plugins in pom.xml. Basically, pom.xml is the primary input to Maven for building your application. By using this application, we can execute some data structure algorithms through REST API calls. Now our goal is to create a new container image for this application. And if you take a look into the artifact ID and the version of this project, artifact ID is going to be the Docker container image and version ID is going to be the tag name. I have created this application for demo purpose only. Now let us start building the Docker container image for this application using Spotify plugin, that is Dockerfile Maven plugin. For this plugin, Dockerfile is required and a Docker daemon instance should be up and running. In my Docker host, Docker daemon instance is up and running. Now I'm going to uncomment this plugin. And I have uncommented the Docker Spotify plugin. And if you take a look into the Docker file which I have created, here I have used OpenJDK base image. If you go into Docker Hub and search with this base image, you might identify the millions of downloads. So OpenJDK 11 is one of the preferable base image for your Java application. And in the second line, I have created a new group, My Learnings, and to the same group, I have created a new user, that is My Learnings again. And if you identify entry point where I'm considering the same jar file to start the application. And here I have specified 8080 to interact with the container to invoke REST endpoints. So now let's start building the application by using that plugin. So it has to create a new container image. Before that, let's verify what all images are available in my machine. And if you see the results here, there is no Docker image exists with the artifact ID data structures with Java. So once we build, if the build is successful, and we can see the new container image. To build this application, either we can execute Maven package or Maven clean install. I'm going with Maven clean install. After build success, we can see the new image in Docker images list. And if you see the build results, image has built successfully, and these are the build logs. which means image has created successfully. Let us take a look into the Docker images available in my Docker host. New Docker image has created, that is data structures with Java and the tag 1.0 and 22 seconds back, which means Docker image has created using Spotify plugin. To test this Docker image, whatever is created by Spotify is accurate or not, we have to start the container using Docker run. Here I am not starting this container as a daemon. I am giving the Docker container name as a ds with Java. And here the image name is data structures with Java. Now, if you see Spring Boot application has started, let us switch back to Postman to trigger a REST endpoint. This endpoint I have created to execute a merge sort algorithm. Here I have specified some random input. Once it has executed successfully, it has to return some output. If you take a look into the output which we got in this, the given input is sorted in ascending order. Here we can see the application logs as well. Once we give Ctrl+C, container is going to start. Now I'm going to remove both the container and image just to avoid the confusion, because when we try with the second plugin, it's going to create the image again. So both image and container I have removed. No container and no image exist. Now let us go back to application again, and now I'm going to uncomment JAB Google plugin. And if you recall, this plugin does not require a Docker file. I'm deleting the Docker file which I have created. Now I'm going to initiate Maven build again. It's going to take a couple of minutes. After that, once the build is successful, we can see the new Docker image again, and then we have to repeat the same steps, bringing up the container using the latest image, and we have to hit the REST endpoint that we created. Then we can make sure whatever the image that is created by JAB Google plugin is accurate. Now the build is successful. So if you go back to the Docker images, there is a new image got created about a minute back. Now let us start the container by using the same CLI command. Again, I'm not starting this container as a daemon instance. So once we give the Ctrl+C, it's going to stop the container. The container is up and running. Let's go back to Postman and hit the API. So we got the response as well, and which means the image that we created is correct. So now we have tested JAB plugin as well. Now I'm going to give the Ctrl+C, and I'm going to execute the remain commands as well. That is removing the container and removing the image as well. Now let us try with Spring Boot Maven plugin. We need build image goal. So I'm going to uncomment this. So now let us start build the container image using Spring Boot Maven plugin. I'm going to execute the same command, maven clean install. It's going to take a couple of minutes. And this Maven plugin doesn't require any Docker file. So if we understand this concept clearly, once we invoke maven clean install, it's going to build a jar file for this application with the required dependencies. The same jar file is going to be considered for building a Docker image as well. But the hidden layer is we have not provided any Docker file, but these plugins will take care of considering the right base image for constructing the Docker image. These plugins will take care of security point of view. I mean, how much JVM or RAM should be considered. What are the command line arguments that we need to provide while executing this container. So now if you see the build logs, The image is created by using Spring Boot Maven plugin as well. Now if you take a look into the images, new image has created, and if you identify that created timestamp is 42 years ago, because we have not given any creation timestamp at the time of Spring Boot Maven build, I'm going to execute the same commands to validate the created image is accurate or not. I'm starting the container using this image. Now the application is up and running. We have to trigger the same REST endpoint. Even we got the response, and go to the container image, go to container logs, and we can see the output. So if we recollect what we learned in this video, we have created a Docker container image by using 3 Maven plugins. One is Spring Boot Maven plugin by using build image code, and another one is JIB Google plugin. And this plugin does not require any Docker file, and it does not require Docker daemon instance as well. And the third one is Docker file Maven plugin provided by Spotify. And this plugin requires both Docker file and a Docker daemon instance should be up and running. So overall, if we see, JIB Google plugin is preferable because wherever you are going to build the image for your application, that node does not require to install Docker daemon instance. If you really like this video, please like and subscribe. For any suggestion, please comment on this video. Thank you.